going to be me now explaining what an order block is and how to use an order block. So don't expect to learn everything about an order block from this video, although they are very simple once you do fully understand them, but at the beginning they might be confusing because then you've got so many in the charts and you don't really know which one to pick, and that's probably, I think, the biggest issue. Rather than identifying an order block, you could easily identify it, but knowing which is the correct one to use would be the harder part. But starting off, these are the notes that I have shared in the chat already. So I'm just going to go to where the part explains about an order block. So I'm going to explain this from a bullish scenario, and so everything that I say in a bullish scenario, just inverse it, and that would be your bearish scenario. So starting off, in a bullish scenario, an order block starts off with a down close candle, and this is here showing a down close candle. And then it tells you the next candle right after it is supposed to be a up close candle, and this is your up close candle. As you can see, the candle opened here and then it closed here, making it a down close candle, and the blue candles are the up close candles. So the next candle opened here and then it closed here, so it engulfed this candle to the left, meaning that it went past this wick on the top, so then therefore validating this now as an order block. So this is your order block now. This is an order block. But then knowing how to use this as an entry point would look like this. It would normally have some displacement, and the next candle may create a fair value gap. A fair value gap is this gap here where the wick of this candle does not meet the wick of this candle, so therefore this is where there's only being buying in that candle, and so it's made an imbalance, but I will explain an FEG after this video. But just take this as an order block, and then what price normally does is comes back into this full body of this candle. So either it could be the main body or it could be the wick from here to there. As long as it comes in distance of this candle, as you can see, he's drew a red line from the wick, and then it shows you it's come inside, and this middle red line is just to point at the halfway point of an order block. Normally when price goes more than halfway, that's when you start maybe thinking to yourself, maybe is this order block is not valid. But you do get scenarios where it will get respected, although it will go be almost invalidating it, but that's just price balancing itself. But basically that is what an order block is, and I recommend you read these notes yourself as well if you've not already. But so now moving on to the charts, and I'll identify order blocks that I found today. So from the Euro chart alone today, if I go ring and casino entry around 12:30, so I'll mark out my 12 o'clock. Actually, I'll mark out 10 to 2. Right, so mark this out and keep that up and put that here. Right, so hopefully you can see that alright. I'll darken it if you can. What I've basically done here is I've just marked the time frame from 10 o'clock to 2 p.m. in the afternoon, because this is what I was looking at today. And how an order block works is, obviously I've explained it. As you can see, there's one there. It comes to the body and then it goes up. But then how you actually put it into context would look like this. So this is what I had today. So this was an order block I identified, and the reason I chose to do this order block was the context that I built my trade around. So the context, starting with that, was we had respected, this 30-minute order block. You can see I've went from the wick, so then that's us respecting 30 OB. Oops, I've wrote the 0 bar, that's what it is. Right, so we respected the 30-minute order block, and then after that I was like, I am interested now. Then we've also respected this FEG as well as this breaker. Breaker is type of an order block, but I'll explain that after. But just for this sake, I'm just going to say that we've only just respected the FEG here. So this this is an order block, but price didn't go as deep down to that. So we respect this FEG here. And an FEG again I said was where this candle does not meet this candle, so therefore it's an imbalance. And price will normally come back to balance it, so going to just make that orange. So now we've tapped into our higher time frame. We've tapped into this 30-minute order block. We've respected it, and the reason why I'm saying respected it is because we've had a displacement up, and we've also had a break of structure. So we've been making higher highs, and every time we make a new high, that is a break of structure, as in we've now made a new high and then we make a new high. So we're breaking highs at each time. So therefore, that is called a break of structure. So that is confirmation 1, confirmation 2, confirmation 3. At this point, I have enough confirmation, but the reason I didn't actually take this trade live was the New York session was starting, and normally when a session starts, if a session is to be bullish, it will make a low, and I just didn't think the low would be made here, although it was here, but it's just one of these scenarios. I missed it, but I chose this order block, which is a 5-minute OB. Oops. 5 OB. And the reason I chose this order block as my entry point was using my fib. So as I said in one of my other videos on how to use a fib, is you use it from your swing low to swing high, draw out the range, and if you're buying, you want to be buying below the 0.5, and therefore this order block was sitting below the 0.5 and therefore in a discount area, and that is where you are prime to buy to make the most of your buy position. So my position looked like this. I had it, so yeah, I had my entry at the start of this OB, and then I had my stop loss at the low of the swing low, and then I was aiming just for, sorry, I was actually not aiming for, I was aiming, this is where my stop was, sorry, and then I was aiming for this previous high, and that was going to be a 3.4% trade. Next, I was like, okay, I've missed that, very good trade, although I've missed it. We had news at half one, which was I think CPI, dollar CPI. So I don't really trade news. That was one of my rules. But then I did identify this order block, and this was my 5-minute order block. Now you might think here, why is he using this? And it's got 2 candles. So once you have, also I say it's the last down close candle before an up move. As long as the 2 candles are next to each other and there's not an up close candle in between, you can use that and still call it a 5-minute OB. So you could call it like this, 5 OB, and that this whole thing is an OB from this wick to this wick is a OB. You could use this, but I think this would be fine just from experience. This is fine. I wouldn't really be using that. But so this was the second entry that I identified, and obviously I'm pretty sure I hit my take profit so quick, and that was it. So I hit my take profit in that 5-minute candle, which was really good, and I missed out on this big move. But yeah, that was the trades that I was looking at today and I missed, but that shows you how I use my 5-minute OB as my entry points, and you can see they are quite precise. As long as you're using the right one, they will be very accurate and price will react very well. If price does not respect an OB, that just means you've chosen an OB in the wrong place and price wasn't interested in going up at that point, or price was going to sweep some liquidity like sell side before it made this move up. That's just unfortunate at that point if it does that, but you can still always get in the position by using a buy stop. So as you can see, this order block did not get respected. The reason why this order block didn't get respected was because we had a 30-minute OB, and I'm sure in one of the videos that I've sent before or notes, I have said it's important to focus on a higher time frame rather than your lower time frame. So don't get stuck in the 5-minute time frame. It'll be very manipulative when you are trying to understand the context of what the market is doing. I always stick around my 1-hour time frame. That kind of gives me a better idea of what the market is doing, and then I will switch to my 5 and my 15, which tells me what my entry point is. So my 15 to 5 is just used for my entry, but I'm never looking at my 15 to 5 minute time frame for understanding the market structure. Like I've seen some people on the 1 minute time frame, which I feel like is very a rookie mistake. But you can do it. You can scalp. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. If you can do it, I encourage you to keep doing it. But I just think from long term and the longevity of you being a profitable trader, I would say stick to your higher time frame bias and don't get lost in your lower time frames. Like if you had chosen this 5 minute OB on your 5 minute time frame and you've got a 30 minute OB, what is going to get respected? This 30 minute OB, not this 5 minute OB, because this has got a higher time frame draw. This does not. So this just becomes liquidity. So if you had taken along from here, you've just been liquidated and someone's just used you as liquidity to get in a buy position, so you're going to feel pretty shit that you've just been used as someone else's liquidity. But yeah, this is basically an OB. What I would want you to do from now on is, well, from this video, go and identify these order blocks and just do it for a bullish candle. If you want to do it for a bearish, try it and please share it in the chart and I will correct you if you are wrong. But I hope this video is pretty easy and to understand, and this concept is pretty easy. All you have to do is go on your charts and just look at the last down close candle, and then when you see a big move up, there should be an OB here, and then just mark it out and mark as many as you can just from today and send it in the chart so I can see if you are getting a hang on what an order block is. And after that I will introduce some other concepts. So thanks for watching.